Hello and welcome to this bonus chapter talking about Google's recent announcement of free organic meta search links. Hi, my name is Dean Schmidt. I'm the founder of Basecamp Meta, and one of the things that we realized as we put together all of our educational content is that there was always going to be something new. There would always be changes that were going to come into the market that we would need to account for. So we're creating these bonus sections to help make sure we address those. Today we're talking about free organic meta on Google. We will have another chapter where we talk about TripAdvisor Plus and some of the pros and cons with that. So circling back to free organic Google. First of all, I want to dispel one of the myths. A couple of weeks ago in early March, when they launched this and rolled it out to the public, there were a ton of articles that were published about it, many of them talking about Google eliminates fees for hotel booking links. Let me say, with no uncertain terms, that is categorically inaccurate. Google has not eliminated the fees for hotel booking links. They still have a paid section. They have, however, added on a free organic section, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's take a look at how this all stacks up. In this example, we've got the Silver Collection Hotel, and we've got the paid links at the top here, just like we would see any other time. In fact, this looks almost identical to what it did, let's say, a month ago. The difference is this section is a little bit smaller. You would have previously had maybe 5, maybe 6 different selections above the fold, so to speak. Now it's narrowed down just to the 4 top ones that are in the meta search auction, running a campaign. However, if I look at the bottom of that screen, I'll see a little button that says View More Rates, or View Rates. And if I click on that, I am then taken to a page that looks like this. Now this page still has those paid selections. In fact, the extended version of it with multiple room types for my brand on top. I like that. That's called room bundling, by the way, if you don't know. Down below that, we also see the All Options section. And if we scroll down a little further, we can keep going and get more and more of those. So the good news is you get listed twice. The bad news is so does everybody else. Now, in this example, we've got somebody that's running a campaign. So we got the campaign version as well as the organic version. We can also look at examples, however, where there is not a campaign running for the brand.com. Now, that can be really advantageous because for a long time, if we're running a campaign at a hotel, we had to always pace our budget out to make sure we got to the end of the month. Sometimes we'd run out of budget and then we're just completely in the dark, right? Well, in this case, we don't get shut off completely. Instead, we move down here and we still have the organic search results, the free results that come up on there. Again, though, that gives me that extra point of sale that we see ourselves down at the bottom, and it also gives a long list of other ones that just keep on going in some cases. Many OTAs are jumping on this bandwagon because of the fact that it doesn't cost them anything. They can easily put room inventory in here with no risk, no cost if they get a booking. Great. If they don't, that's okay too. We'll talk later about how that impacts you with respect to wholesalers. Keep that in mind. All right, but one thing that you probably have noticed is that in both of these cases, and in fact in every example that I've tried to research before putting this together, the brand link was coming up at the top of the organic search results. Hey, fantastic. That's good for us, right? And it absolutely is. But why is the brand link coming up there? Now, there's a couple of reasons for it. When Google organizes the ranking order of those organic listings, they have a secret sauce. They won't tell everybody about what's all in it, but one of the key components is what they refer to as a quality score. That quality score is based upon what happens when a consumer clicks on your link. So if they're clicking on an OTA link, they're taken to a landing page that's going to have the hotel featured as well as several other hotels, and they may have to make several more clicks before they can actually make a booking. By way of comparison, if they click on that hotel link, they get in here and hey, guess what? They can very quickly come in here and book that room with exactly what they clicked on. It's that specific hotel, it's that specific rate, it's a high quality link. Again, by way of comparison, here's the example where we had multiple links at an OTA. So it's a higher quality score, and that has a tendency to give us the preferred positioning when we talk about those organic listings. Now, if we back up a few steps here, if you notice, that doesn't really change our campaign a whole lot, right? We had our listing that was in there. It's listed at the bottom. It gives me a second point of sale, but really it's just duplicating everything else. In fact, adding more selections if we really scroll down and look at all of them. So what is the advantage to me as a hotelier if I'm running a campaign, other than the budget and so forth? And there's not a huge difference is the answer. It does have a tighter window of paid search. You will probably see your impression share artificially increase. What I mean by that is, before you might have been one of 6 booking options, now you're one of 4. So 1 of 4 is a higher impression share than 1 of 6, right? So mathematically, it's going to look like your impression share has increased, even though that may not actually be the case. Okay, but where this really has some opportunity is when we talk about these small hotels, a small bed and breakfast, for example. Somebody who didn't previously have a point of sale for the OTAs or anything coming up on their Google My Business page. This is a huge opportunity because now all they need to do is get the connectivity, have a booking option, and that can be done through Book on Google or an internet booking engine. And guess what? You've got a point of sale right there on your Google My Business page, and it didn't cost you any marketing dollars. So it's really quick, it's really easy, and there's ways we can do that. Reach out and contact me, and I can tell you more about that if you need to know how to do that part of it. All right, so where is this going? Where is Google taking this in the bigger picture? And to answer that, we have to kind of take a look at where we've been. So, for example, historically, when we would go in and we search in by a property name, that is kind of what you think of as a branded search term, right? And we would always see that the pay-per-click ads would come up at the very top of that, featuring that branded hotel. And we want to own this space. We spent a lot of time and effort owning this space. And then further down, we get into the organic search engine optimization, which, of course, we want to optimize that as well. Metasearch, of course, brought about the Google Hotel ad, and my Google My Business page that you see off on the right-hand side of this. Okay, so that's kind of how everything traditionally lives. Well, you notice that similarity now, that comparison where we have that paid SEM or search engine marketing versus the free search engine optimization on the bottom. Well, guess what? We're doing something very similar. And this applies to the property level within their metasearch links, but it also applies to destinations. Okay, so in the past for a destination, if I said hotels in Miami, I would have almost always come up with some type of a paid ad coming up on top of that. And we'd scroll down a little bit further and we'd get to where we saw what they call the Google Local Universal 4-pack. Okay, and that's for a non-branded search term. That's just hotels in an area. And we have the pay-per-click ads coming up there. Now, by way of comparison, when I go to my current non-branded search terms, it looks more like this. Hotels in Miami, and what do you not see? You do not see that pay-per-click ad that came in before the local 4-pack. All right, so instead we get that 4-pack, which, by the way, is based upon a lot of different characteristics. For one thing, Google knows hotels that you've looked at before, and it may feature them in there for that reason. Google also knows hotels that other people have looked at. It also knows the ratings for the hotels, and if that hotel is offering a special deal. So it's trying to give you the first 4 hotels that it believes you are most likely to click on. And of course, at the bottom of this, we see the link, View More. You may have 500 hotels, 1,000 hotels, whatever it may be, but there's more to choose from. Now, when we click on this, look what happens. We're taken into what we refer to as the Google Immersive Travel page. And right off the bat in this page, we see our paid listings. In this example, we have one from the Standard, so that's Property Direct. We also have one from Booking.com. Yes, that's right. This is not limited to just the brands. The OTAs can participate in this area as well. And then once we get down from that, we scroll down further and we get into the organic listings. So for example, when I click on one of these hotels, this is the one that had the Booking.com link. Now it's going to prominently feature a booking link to whoever sponsored that, in this case, Booking.com. However, that is not the only booking link. It will then also be followed by organic links, including, here again, the brand link that we saw before, as well as a long list of other ones that keep on going. Okay, so what we see here is that Google is transitioning all of their digital marketing for hospitality into this more immersive page. Why is that important? Because it's going to change the way that we think about digital marketing and hospitality. Traditionally, we think about the search engine results page, or the SERP, right? And how that is laid out. We can see that Google is moving the consumer, though, into this this other page that has more information and really gets them more immersed into the experience. Why? Because it gets them further down the booking funnel. That's a good thing. That's good for us. It's good for Google because it gets them further towards that booking, which is what everybody wants. That does, however, bring up one other important detail, and that is deep links and tracking. When we talk about metasearch, the advantage to it is that it is a link off platform, meaning that it links off of Google or any other site for that matter, but today we're talking about Google, off of their site and goes to your website. That is done by way of what's referred to as a deep link URL. Okay? Why am I talking about this? And this gets a little bit data nerdy of me here, so forgive me. But the reason I'm talking about this is because a lot of hotels out there have not updated their deep link URLs between their paid listing and their free organic listing. And let me show you some examples here. I've changed the names to protect the innocent, if you will, but you'll see the examples. So here's the first one. myhotel.com. We won't say who it is. But you'll see that they have a lot of tracking in here. Some of this you can't interpret, but there are a few key sections. By the way, in our connectivity webinar, we do talk about the anatomy of a deep link. So if you ever want to know more about what some of these things are, tune into that webinar. But here we can see it specifically talks about Meta HPA paid US desktop. In fact, it repeats that later on in the tracking code. Okay, so that is tracking to that. And then here is the free version of the same thing, and it very specifically identifies that this is the free hotel price ad, free US desktop. Okay, so this chain, and this bot does come from a chain by the way, does have specific tracking to identify if this came from a paid or a free link. That's very important, especially if you're on a commission model, because if that commission one comes off of an organic link, you don't want to pay commission on that. Right? So you want to make sure that you have tracking in place for that. Here's another example from another chain hotel. Again, we changed it to protect them. In this example, it just says Google paid Meta. I replaced their hotel code with hotel code, local universal. And then by way of comparison, you see that the free version of that, they inserted a note on there that that is an organic link that did not appear in the previous one. By way of comparison, here's another hotel chain with their paid link and their organic link. Can you see the difference? No. And actually, that's the point. They were identical. So this particular hotel chain cannot differentiate between what came through as a paid link and what's coming through as a free link. And by the way, Google's not going to tell you. They do have some data, they do have some analytics within your Google Analytics to track that. But if you're using DoubleClick or Adobe Analytics or anything, a third-party tracking on that, you are not going to know. You will not be able to tell the difference. So it's very important that you have your deep links changed for that. All right, so to recap, Google now offers both search engine marketing and search engine optimization style listings for Meta. That's what Google Free Organic Meta is. It's kind of similar to your search SEM and SEO. It is a great opportunity for hotels without a point-of-sale booking option. It's not a detriment to other hotels, but not necessarily a strong advantage to them. That free listing section is prime real estate for wholesaler inventory. We've battled wholesalers for years trying to play that whack-a-mole game of where's that inventory coming from. Well, now they have a free repository to throw that in. So we are going to see a lot of these OTAs pop up that we've never heard of before. In fact, you're already starting to see a lot of those. And last but not least, make sure that your deep link URLs are updated. That tracking has to be adjusted to track between paid and organic. So thank you very much for your time today. If you do want to learn more, feel free to reach out, tune into some of our other webinars. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks a lot.